Howdy folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am your host, the Mighty Bjorn, and today for you folks, I'm going to be taking some time discussing some Warhammer 40k stuff because I'm going to discuss for a little bit here about the Centaur light utility vehicle, or tracked utility. I guess it's more like tracked utility vehicle, to be honest. But this is a vehicle within Warhammer 40k that is quite typically shown with the Death Corps of Krieg. So another interesting vehicle that the Angry Shovel Boys use. But before I dive into the meat and potatoes of today's video, folks, I just want to take some time and personally thank everyone for watching the videos, liking the videos, commenting, subscribing, sharing the videos. All that stuff helps me out as a growing YouTube channel. I really greatly appreciate it. I also want to just take a moment to also give my Patreon supporters a special thank you. Their support provides a bit of a budget to the channel, kind of helps me out be able to do more content down the road. Either ways, let's get into the Centaur. And essentially the Centaur is actually a light tracked utility vehicle. I actually said that a bit ago. I'm just emphasizing that that's what this vehicle is. It is not a heavily armored vehicle either. And essentially it fulfills many different roles. Could be moving supplies, could be used for reconnaissance. Another use, a quite common use, especially by the Death Corps, is an artillery hauler. Although it does have a bit of an issue moving some of the heavier artillery pieces, such as I believe it's the Colossus or the Bombard cannon and the Earth Shaker. Now, it can move them on flat surfaces, but realistically, the engine's just not powerful enough to really move those heavier artillery pieces anywhere you'd want them to be. So, not always the best vehicle to really use for hauling artillery. No matter which way you look at it, it can still haul around artillery. And the Death Corps of Krieg makes pretty good use of it, towing around artillery vehicles. Artillery emplacement equipment, I guess you could put it. Now, when it comes to the vehicle itself, it is crewed by two. Essentially, you have a commander, which also acts as the machine gunner, and then you have the driver. And generally speaking, the commander deals with all the duties of the vehicle outside of driving. So any type of weapon systems that the vehicle has, such as a hunter-killer missile, that's going to be pretty much up to the commander. The commander also works the pintle-mounted heavy stubber, as well as any communications would be dealt with by the commander. Now, when it comes to the vehicle itself, it can transport up to 5 troops. So basically, you'd have your commander, your driver, and then an additional 5 people that can be transported in the vehicle. This could be anything from an artillery crew, in the case of hauling around artillery guns, or it could be like a special weapons team, a demolition team, a small reconnaissance group, anything along those lines. Now, unfortunately, because of the vehicle being open-topped, pretty much everyone is exposed to enemy fire and the elements. Although I'm sure there probably is some type of canvas covering, realistically, that the Centaur could use to essentially help protect the crew from rain. That being said, it's not going to protect them from enemy fire or shrapnel. Now, for the vehicle itself, especially for the passengers, it does feature fold-down seats. So these seats will fold up into position, which makes it an even better option to use as an ammunition carrier, which that is another role this vehicle would actually be used for. The vehicle would be used for a lot of different roles, mostly because it's cheap and it's efficient. Now, I'm not quite sure who the artist actually made this picture. I guess it's Grayskull, but here's a really good picture of what the vehicle would look like, especially packed with passengers. But yeah, pretty good overall. And he also was nice enough to give us the specs, where the vehicle is built, and the different roles and things of that nature that it would have. So Very cool, very good looking piece of art, and it gives us a better idea of how cramped this thing would be with 5 people in it besides the driver and the gunner. Or, sorry, the commander. Now, the thing I like about this vehicle is the Games Workshop, hold on, let me correct myself. Forge World, which was the original makers of the Centaur model, took heavy inspiration from the British Universal Carrier, down to the fact that basically it's a cheap vehicle, well, a cheap tracked vehicle that can cross various different types of terrain and was used for various different roles, including being used as a troop carrier. When it comes to upgrades, this thing can have a lot of the similar upgrades that Imperial vehicles can have, basically dozer blade, searchlight, hunter killer missiles, smoke grenade launchers. Unfortunately, though, this is one vehicle, though, that cannot have an enclosed armored canopy. Some vehicles can actually have an enclosed crew compartment. One such vehicle is, like, I believe the Earth Shaker. You can do that with the Earth Shaker. And you can also do that with, like, the Griffin. But you can't do that with this vehicle. It's basically open top or bust. Now, when it comes to Warhammer 40k, I can definitely see the Gilead Grave Diggers actually using this vehicle. And mostly that's because the Gilead Grave Diggers realistically is a PDF. And with that being said, the Centaur has actually been used by, well, quite a few Imperial Guard regiments, even though it kind of was originally first appearing with the Death Corps of Krieg. Since then, many other Imperial Guard regiments has actually been seen using these tracked utility vehicles. And because of it being cheap and efficient and essentially a good way to maneuver around equipment, ammunition, and supplies, it would be a good fit for the Gilead Grave Diggers. Now, finally, with that being covered completely the way I put it, you can actually get this Centaur in Technical Field Manual Volume 1, which you can download from the Doctors of Doom website, as well as many other fan-made supplements. Anyway, folks, I'm going to wrap up today's video at that. Hopefully you all enjoyed this short video about the Centaur. Thank you very much for tuning in, and have yourselves a wonderful day.
Nice fucking model!